Hi dear students, in the previous session we were discussing about the group of organisms which comes under the bryophytes, that is Bryopsida, along with one example to understand the properties in detail, that is Funaria, the mode of sexual reproduction and also asexual reproduction. When it comes to separate organisms we took, right? We'll next move to the next group of organism called as Hepaticopsida. In that we will find the different examples in detail, right? Here it is, we are going to discuss about the Bryophyta. In that we are taking the next class, Hepaticopsida. And here Hepaticopsida are commonly called as liverworts. These are commonly called liverworts. Liverworts, as they possess a liver-like structure. A liver-like structure will be there, so that's why these are commonly called as liverworts, and they found growing in damp, shady areas, moist and dark areas where they require much water. Water for their growth and development. So that's why they are growing in this type of habitat. And the structure will be always thalloid, where it cannot be differentiated into root, stem and leaves. They are always said to be root-like, stem-like and leaf-like structures. So here they possess a dorsiventrally flattened structure. Flattened structure where they possess rhizoids on its ventral side. Rhizoids on its ventral side, and these rhizoids are unicellular root-like structures that helps in attachment, substrate attachment and absorption of water and minerals. And these rhizoid structures will be of two types, whether they may be simple and some will be pegged-like structure. Simple, it refers to a small extension from the ventral surface. So if you consider, this is a thalloid body, where that possess a extension from the ventral side, right? So this is one structure, and when it comes to the next one, pegged type of structure. Here they will extend it in a thicker condition, very thicker and a longer one, very thick and longer one, and these both are rhizoids are unbranched in condition, unbranched in condition always. It should be in mind always, and they possess on ventral side itself, but they are little bit thicker. What is the function of pegged type of rhizoids? Here they helps in absorption of water efficiently. When compared to simple type of rhizoid, pegged type of rhizoids helps in absorption of water efficiently in very desiccant condition. ತುಂಬ ನೀರು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ಯಾಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಆಗ ಅವು ಪೆಗ್ಡ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ more efficiently the water and minerals. So that's why these two are the different type of rhizoids present in Hepaticopsida. And when we move to the example for these two, the first one is Rixia and the other second one is Marchantia, and we'll take one more, that is Porella. So these are the three different type of liverworts that we are seeing. We'll go one by one with the structure in detail. When it comes to Rixia, these are having a complete thalloid like structure, and they are dichotomously branched with dorsiventrally flattened or oppressed structure. Dorsiventrally flattened and oppressed ಅಂದರೆ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ Rixia, one example with the structure, and where these possess rhizoids on its ventral surface. So ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ rhizoids ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Okay, they should be coming in the back side that I am showing here, and these are called as rhizoids. And we'll move to the second one, Marchantia. This is leaf like structure. This is a one leaf like structure, and this is also dichotomously branched. This is a dichotomously branched structure, this leaf like appearance, and on the lower region there will be a presence of rhizoids, unicellular structures, root like structures on the ventral surface, right? So these are the rhizoids. And when it comes to Porella, it is just having a stem like appearance, little bit stem like appearance. On a stem like structure, it is a presence of a leaf like structures on both the sides, and they arrange spirally, one within the other, and this Porella possess the sex organs on the top, or it may be also from the ventral side of the stem like structure. These are the sex organ bearing structures. You can mention that this may be the female structure and this may be the male structure, right? So this is Porella, and this is Marchantia, and this one is a Rixia. So these are the different structures where we can find. If it is not visible, just go through the textbook and it will be there in your textbook, right, regarding the structure. When we move to the next part, where you can find the process of reproduction, which is of three different type. One is vegetative method of reproduction. It is by fragmentation. Where the leaf-like structure present in these three just cut into many pieces, and it becomes part by part division, and later each cut piece will develop into a new individual, right? So that method of reproduction is called as vegetative method, and the complete method is called fragmentation. And next we'll move to the another one type, that is asexual method of reproduction. Asexual method of reproduction. When it comes to asexual method, you can find the special structures in case of Markensia, where they are present on the dorsal surface or on the dorsal side. It is cup-like appearance. So this is rhizoid here. These are the cup-like structures, and are called gemma cup. Gemma cup. Within the gemma cup, there will be a presence of spores within that. These are the spores which are covered. And these gemma cup present on dorsal side, on a dorsal side of Markensia, there will be a presence of specialized structures called as cup-like receptacle structures called as gemma cup. Within that, and singular form, it is called as gemmae. Okay. Within this, there will be a spores. And these spores, when they come out of the gemma cup, they develop into a new individual. Each will get developed into a new individual. So here, the spores which are coming out of the cup-like receptacle structure, these are the spores within the gemma cup. Spores, ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಂತ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ. And later this is considered as gemmae. Single one is there, that's why it is gemmae. And when the spores are coming out of this, they one single will develop into a new Markensia. So in that way, the process of reproduction is going to be observed, that is asexual method. And the last one is sexual method of reproduction. Sexual method of reproduction. In sexual method of reproduction, you can find the presence of male and female sex organs, and they are called as, male is called as antheridia, and female is called as archegonium, which is present within the archegonium. Right? Antheridia and archegonium. And the structures which bear these are antheridiopore and archegoniopore. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಪೋರ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಆಂಥ್ರೀಡಿಯೋಪೋರ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂಥ್ರೀಡಿಯಾ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋ ಅಂಥ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್. ಸಿ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ So this is considered as an antheridiopore. Within that there will be a antheridia. So these are the antheridia. And when it comes to the next one, archegoniospore, and it will be of this structure. I am just differentiating these two, where it consists of eggs or archegonia. And these are motile in nature, that means male are motile in nature. When they come out of the parental cell, it becomes biflagellate in condition, and they reaches to the female cell by swimming in a water current. ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ವಿಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ರೀಚಸ್ ಟು ದ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಆರ್ಕಿಗೋನಿಯಾ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲೇಟರ್ ದೇ ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್. ಹಿಯರ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಫ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ zygote, and later this zygote will develop into a sporophytic plant body, a sporophyte, and this sporophyte plant will again develop into spore mother cell, spore mother cell, and this spore mother cell will undergoes meiosis. Later they forms a spores or meiospores, and this spore will again develop into a protonema or a new individual plant body. Yadu again, it may be Marchantia or a Rixia. Like this, there will be a development of a new plant body, right? The spore which develop into Marchantia, if it is a Marchantia. So here we observe the structure in case of sexual method of reproduction. I am taking this Marchantia. The sexual method of reproduction is completed by the presence of antheridiopore, archegoniospore within this Marchantia thallus, and this thallus may possess both antheridiopore and archegoniospore on the same thallus or maybe on the different thallus. Take for example, here it is a archegoniospore which is growing on the dorsal surface, This is male one and this is the next one, antheridiopore growing on the same thallus. Now both the sex bearing structures are present on same thallus. Sometimes what happens, this is one thallus, there may be a development of male one here, and on other thallus there may be a development of female. This is a female and this one is also female, and this is male and this one is male. I written already, right? There may be a development of sex organs either on the same thallus, both the sexes on the same thallus, or maybe on a different thallus. If they are growing on a same thallus, and that type of structure, a Marchantia structure, is called as bisexual. And if it is growing on separate thalli, then it becomes unisexual. Right here, unisexual and bisexual, that may be growing on a same thallus or maybe on a different thallus. And later the antheridiopore which is coming out from the antheridiopore, the antheridia will be coming out with a biflagellate condition. They swim near to the female archegonia, and later they fuse together to become zygote, and that zygote will be 2n in condition. Here it is N and N separately, this is also N and N separately haploid, and the sporophyte become 2n. The spore mother is also 2n. Later by meiosis the spore become N, and the spore again develop into a Marchantia which is also N. In this way there will be an alternation of generation will takes place from haploid to diploid or diploid to haploid. In this way there will be an alternation of generation that results in the formation of a new individual organism either by asexual method or by sexual method. When it comes to the sexual method of reproduction, you can observe the fusion of gametes, but when it comes to the asexual method, directly from the gemma cup the spores are coming out and later they develop into new individuals, right? So in this way the growth of Rixia, Marchantia or maybe Porella will takes place. Here the sexual method of reproduction observed will be oogamous type. What do you mean by oogamous? I have already mentioned this earlier, that is a motile smaller male will reaches to the non-motile larger female, and that type of fusion will be said as oogamous. We discussed earlier about isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous type of reproduction, right? So in that the last one is oogamous type of reproduction. When it comes to oogamous type of reproduction, you can find one non-motile and other is motile. Which one will be motile? That will be a smaller male. Which one will be the non-motile? And it will be larger and female. Two female cell, the male cell will reaches and then forms a fusion to become zygote and they develop into a new individual, right? So this is a method of sexual reproduction. And which type of sexual reproduction is observed in case of bryophytes? Adrallu liverworts anta kelidre, that is oogamous type of reproduction anteli baribeku ನೀವು, right? Regarding a bryophyta, Hepaticopsida, we took these commonly called as liverworts and their list of general characteristic feature. And when it comes to examples, we have taken the individual diagrams. Later we gone through methods of reproduction. And in this we are going to complete the two different classes of bryophyta, that is Bryopsida and Hepaticopsida. Immediately we will move to the economic importance of bryophytes. See here, bryophytes, as it is a plant, they bring a very important commercial importances. So they can be used in various fields for our purpose, that means the mankind purpose. So in that we will take up the first one, that is as a source of food. As a source of food. These bryophytes which are growing on the edges of rocks or maybe on any other moist or shady damp areas, they helps in or they become the mass of food for herbivore animals. So here the herbivore animals will be using these as herbivore animals are using these as food, and the example is mosses, right? So here it is example. And the next one, they have a variant ecological importance. They exhibit a variant ecological importance. Ecological importance. So here, when the earth is going to be formed in an earlier time, it may be 4 or 5 million years ago, a very lowest organisms are going to be arised with a very few advanced properties, and they form a good vegetative matter. So that is growing on the rocks, and that helps in decomposition of rocks. These helps in decomposition of rocks. That's why they helps in the other organism growth, helps in maintaining or conversion of a suitable environmental media, suitable environment for the growth of other organisms, for the growth of other organisms. Here also example is mosses. See, here they exhibit ecological importance. It refers to there should be a presence of one of the organism property which should help for the growth of other organisms. So ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಗ್ರೋತು ಬೇರೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಗೂ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗೋ ಥರ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇರೋವಂಥ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸು ಅರ್ಲಿಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹುಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅರ್ತ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತು. ಸೊ ಅಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಈ ಬ್ರಯೋಫೈಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗ್ರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ರಾಕ್ಸ್, they helps in decomposition of rock. Actually rock is converted into soil anta heltivi and it will take nearly 1000 years time for the conversion mechanism. But by the help of these bryophytes, they helps in conversion of rocks into soil or otherwise which many of the mineral nutrients present in the rocks, they get converted and available for the plants which are growing in the next generation. That means bryophytes next ಬೇರೆ organisms ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇರೋಂಥವು ಅದರ ಗ್ರೋತಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋಂಥ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸು ಈ ಬ್ರಯೋಫೈಟ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ bryophytes they helps in decomposition of rocks so that they helps in the conversion of suitable environment for the growth of other organisms anteli heltivi. And the example is mosses. And the next one they helps in third one helps in soil erosion. So here due to the continuous growth and also increased rate of growth and they are all very lowermost organisms, primitive organisms, they can form highest mode of reproduction and to bring many of the organisms within a short span of time. So that's why they become a mat like structure on the floor. That means on a moist damp areas they form a mat like structure and later this mat helps in the receiving of rain in a equal form. ಅಂದರೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಳೆ ನೆಲದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದಾಗ ಮಣ್ಣು ಕೊಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ರಯೋಫೈಟ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಎರೋಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ by the presence of mat-like structure. So this is one of the important advantage which bryophytes brought for us, right? So in case of bryophytes they form a mat-like structure, mat-like structure by their increased growth which helps in prevention of direct rainfall on soil, and this is also done by mosses. So this is one more example, importance. And next we will move to the fourth one. So these examples they are used in nurseries. Here one of the bryophyte are having the more water holding capacity. Some bryophytes like sphagnum, I will write first example. Sphagnum, I have taken this in Bryopsida. Bryopsidana explain ಮಾಡುವಾಗ sphagnum ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. Sphagnum is one of the best example for Bryopsida where this is having more water holding capacity. Water holding capacity is more. That's why, for example, as their weight is about 1 gram, they can able to consist a consistency which is provided is 100 ml. 1 gram of sphagnum can hold a water about 100 ml. So that means 100 times of water holding capacity is increased. 100 times of water holding capacity is increased. So that's why they are used in nurseries. How they help? If you are doing the grafting process, tissue culture ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಕಸಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ. Okay, this is a one parent, we can take this as A, and we have one more desired parent that is considered as B. We need to graft the B to the A. Okay na, this is a graft that we made, and later we need to have a particular portion should be a very wet in condition. So that's why sphagnum is going to be rolled over here and that can be tied. So ಈ ಥರ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಪ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಓಕೆನಾ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಿಂಗ್ helps in water holding to this tissue and that forms a prevention of drying. So ಇದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಡ್ರೈ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋ ಥರ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ and later it helps in germination and also forming our emergence of leaves ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So in nurseries, due to the presence of water holding capacity, they can be used for covering of grafting tissues and also it helps in maintenance of seedlings. It also helps in maintenance of seedlings. ಸೀಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೇನು, ಈಗ ನೀವು ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟೊ ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಣಸಿನ್ಕಾಯಿ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಬ್ರಿಂಜಾಲ್ ಬೆಳೀತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಕುಕ್ಕುಂಬರ್ ಬೆಳೀತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೇನಲ್ಲಿ 100 ಇದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಏನು ಸಸಿಗಳು ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. And in those 100 plants, very small plants, you can find a very dark brownish colored matter present in the vessel-like structure or a cup-like structure. And that cup-like structure which is present within the dark brownish color, which is called as a sphagnum. And this sphagnum is having water holding capacity which is increased by 100 times as compared to its normal weight. So that's why this can be used in nurseries. Understood about this? And next we will move to the use as a peat. These are used as a peat and the same example will be given for this sphagnum. Sphagnum is used here also, where it can be used for transportation of fleshy materials. What is meant by fleshy materials? For exporting purpose from one country to other countries, or maybe within the country we need to export the materials. That may be fish or it may be flowers also, or the vegetables, even the vegetables. And those vegetables which can be reached by 15 days later or 1 month later, or it may be 1 or 2 weeks, okay. And those materials should be fresh even. So that's why the fleshy materials should be fresh when they are going to reach on that time. For that purpose, the water holding capacity of sphagnum is helpful. That's why this is considered as a peat, where we can use the peat material, that is sphagnum, and later some of the fleshy materials are placed over one above the other, again one more layer of sphagnum and again one more layer of fleshy components like maybe a fish or the fruits or maybe a flowers, and later it can be packed and then it can be sent. So in this way we can use as a peat. Example is sphagnum. And the same sphagnum can also be a very good fuel component. So idunna uruvalagi kuda use ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. This can be used as a fuel also. And one more example, that is polytrichum. I will write here 6th one, polytrichum commune. Polytrichum commune. I am writing a scientific name, that's why I use very small letters, and this should be underlined separately. A polytrichum commune which is used for dissolving of kidney stones. Treatment for kidney stones. This polytrichum commune bryophyte is taken as a tea. So ನೀವು ಟೀ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಟೀ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದೇ ಥರ ಈ ಪಾಲಿಟ್ರೈಕಮ್ ಕಮ್ಯೂನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ನ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಟೀ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕುಡಿಯೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕಿಡ್ನಿ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ನ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಒನ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಹೋಮ್. So that is why a polytrichum commune can be used to dissolving of a kidney stones by having a tea like, right? So this is one of the economic importance. So we'll go through one more look. It is used as a source of food as the herbivore animals are eating this, and the example is mosses, and it possesses a ecological importance. It forms a decomposition of rocks which helps in growing of other organisms also. As it forms a mat-like structure, it prevents the direct rainfall on the soil, helps in prevention of soil erosion, and example is mosses again, and used in nursery. The bryophytes are used in nursery. Here the example is sphagnum. Due to the presence of high water holding capacity, this can be used for packaging also given here, and it can be used for grafting also. And the last is Polytrichum commune. So these are the major economic importances provided by the bryophytes. So this completes the bryophytes. Thank you, dear students.